I recently purchased a full color LED smart ceiling light from Amazon for $35. And guess what? It supports Apple HomeKit. But Shane, I thought all Apple Home stuff is super expensive. Well, that's just really not the case anymore. And this is a perfect example of that. I just couldn't resist buying this very affordable smart ceiling light to see if it's any good. Today we'll find out and, once and for all determine if you can find affordable products that support Apple Home natively today in 2023. Let's go. Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Shane and this channel is all about building an easy Apple Home smart home with new videos and live streams every week. All right, so it all started with one of my channel members, you know who you are, started ragging me about the ceiling light right here in my studio. So I had no intentions of changing this thing out, but after that, and then after finding this ceiling light for a super affordable price during Amazon's Prime Day, I just couldn't resist. And even then, I really had no intention of making a video about this, but after I posted on Instagram, I got a number of comments and questions about this thing over there on Instagram, so I figured maybe it's something some of y'all might be interested in. So here we are. The product itself is listed by a Chinese company called DoHome. The ceiling light is an RGBW color changing light that supports Apple HomeKit, Amazon's Alexa, and Google Home. This is a Wi-Fi device, so it will connect directly to your Wi-Fi network and even comes with a little remote. The product is listed for $69.99 US, but was 50% off during Prime Day, bringing it down to about $35. I mean, come on, $35 for a dimmable RGBW ceiling light that supports HomeKit and has a little remote. Definitely couldn't beat the price, especially with that discount, so I had to give it a shot. In fact, at the time of recording, there is still a 50% off coupon on Amazon that might still be available by the time you're watching this, so I'll put an affiliate link in the description below in case you're interested and want to check it out. So the product arrived, and to my surprise, I did not see a DoHome label or logo anywhere on the box except on the little Made in China QR code sticker. Instead, it appears to be made by Cozy Life, which I've never heard of, but it does have the Works with Apple HomeKit stamp right there on the box. Apparently, it comes in white or black. I don't remember having the option when I ordered this, but this here is the white version. The weirdest thing for sure is that they have the HomeKit QR code on the outside of the box. That's really strange. I don't think I've ever seen that before, but it is what it is. This is clearly a cheaper, Chinese product that does not appear to be UL listed. It is CE and FCC certified, for what it's worth. Inside we have the light, which is clearly made of like a plastic type of material. I always feel like the images for these types of products make it seem much bigger online than they are in real life. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Anyways, we also get a remote and a user manual with yet another brand name on it, which includes another instance of our HomeKit code. And here's a quick look at the wiring for the light. Just two wires. Again, you can see the flexible plastic type of material. You can see a third instance of our HomeKit code as well right here on the side. Now to install it, I cut the power and I removed my existing light fixture. Here's a quick look at the wiring coming out of my ceiling, just so you know. I actually have wiring for a ceiling fan here and a light. I'm just not using the ceiling fan wiring right now, so I have that capped off. Now, full disclosure, I am not an electrician by any means, and I highly recommend seeking the assistance of a professional electrician if you're not comfortable with electrical or just in general, not a bad idea to consult a professional. And with that said, I should also note that there were 0 installation instructions included here in the box. So the getting started guide only covered pairing the light with the app and not the actual installation. I wired mine up real quick. It's just 2 wires to deal with, so it's not very difficult. I did want to test it out before mounting it up there to make sure it works, so I connected the light and cut the power on. I was getting some weird, inconsistent flashing of the light, so I assumed that had something to do with the Lutron Caseta dimmer that I had installed at the switch. Now typically smart lights and bulbs won't pair well with smart light switches, which is what I had installed here. So I went ahead and replaced that Lutron Caseta switch with just a regular old dumb switch. Once I did that, I could see that the bulb was flashing, which in a better way, which looked to be some sort of pairing mode. So I opened up the Apple Home app, scanned the HomeKit code on the side of the light, and was pleasantly surprised to see that it connected right away on the first attempt. I added it to my studio, change the name if you want to, and there you go. It has been successfully added to my Apple Home app. Now there is an app called the Cozy Life app that you can also download and pair the light with if you want to. I do usually install manufacturer apps for these smart products. If nothing else, just to see if there's any firmware updates that need to be done. Also, often you'll find additional features and settings that are not available in the Apple Home app, so I usually like to check that out and see what's available. I didn't find any firmware updates on this one. The app does include scenes and a music mode. Now, I'm not too big on giving a Chinese app that I've never heard of access to my microphone, so I just skipped the whole music mode entirely on this. Didn't really need it. And the scenes don't really do a whole lot either, since the light only changes from like one color to another and doesn't appear to do multiple colors at the same time, you know? But it's there if you want any of that. Personally, I'd just be happy using this in the Apple Home app and completely skipping the Cozy Life app. So I'll probably just end up deleting it off my phone entirely. In the Home app, you're not going to get anything fancy. There's no adaptive lighting or anything like that, but you do get full color and brightness control. The colors aren't super bright, decent for some accent lighting, I suppose. The white, on the other hand, is not bad. The whites are fairly bright, and I have found it to be quite suitable as my main light here in the studio. I do have temperature control over the whites, which is nice, and that's something I didn't have before when using, just a smart switch. Like I was with my old fixture here in the studio. So that's a nice little upgrade. And remember that remote? Well, yeah, you can use that, which is kind of cool. You can turn the light on and off from the remote. There is a full brightness and temperature control. You can even change the colors between red, green, and blue. There is a cycle button that will cycle through the colors in different patterns and effects. And there are 3 buttons for quickly changing the temperature from cool to warm, and then there's one right in between. Overall, I think this looks pretty good on the ceiling. Better than the last light fixture. I don't know, you tell me in the comments below what you think. I also have seen other similar affordable products available on Amazon, I should mention. One even has a separate accent light that shines on the ceiling instead of downward like the main light of this one does. I'll also put links to that below in case you want to check it out. If you do like me and replace a ceiling light with a smart fixture like this, you won't be able to use the switch anymore, so that is worth noting. It's the same as when you use like a smart bulb with a switch. If you turn the switch off, it will kill the connection to the smart bulb. You can add a relay behind the switch, or even, use a smart button to turn on or off the light instead of the physical hardwired switch if you want to. That's probably something I'll do. Or you can just leave the switch on all the time and use Siri or the Home app or the remote control to adjust the light. All in all, I can't be mad at this thing for only 35 bucks since I got it on sale. It's worked well and has been quite responsive in the Apple Home app ever since I installed it. The whites are good and bright enough to use here in the studio, and it's probably what I'll use most of the time, but it is cool to have the color options that I can, include in my studio HomeKit scenes for more accent lighting and stuff like that. Even if those colors aren't super bright, still kind of cool to have. I don't think you can expect much more for the price. I mean, this is sort of a weird Amazon find. I'm sure the quality of something like a Philips Hue light would be much better, but you pay probably at least 3 times as much. So, it's a give and take. But it is awesome that we can find very affordable products like this that support Apple Home natively. To be honest, at the end of the day, this here is probably just temporary until the Nanoleaf Skylight comes out. Hopefully later this year. I've had my eye on that ever since it was announced at CES. That's the one I've been waiting for here in the studio. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on that video, as well as other videos and live streams right here every week. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.